Hi, I'm Julie Neckley. And I went through this phase recently where I was just like working around the clock, and so I just like became completely isolated. And it was starting to get to me, so I decided I should start dating people in order to be less isolated. And it's kind of freaking me out, to be honest, because one thing I'm discovering is that there are a lot of panty lickers out there, and no. I can't date a panty licker. What a panty licker is someone whose primary goal in life is to protect, preserve, and pleasure themselves. And that's repulsive to me. I think that's like the grossest thing, and I cannot date a man like that. Like one thing men seem to be concerned about is that somebody would date them in order to get like a free sandwich or something. And once again, I just can't. Ugh. Like what the like no what like ugh like ugh ugh like ugh. I'm sorry, but that really grosses me out, because it's like it shows a total disregard for what it's actually like to date someone, what it's like to be in a relationship, like what it's like to have sex with someone. It's like, if you're like having physical contact with someone, or even, I mean, I would say even like psychological contact, but much less physical contact or having sex with them, it's like you go through this entire chemical process, right? Where your body and mind get reconfigured and you start dreaming dreams that are related to them. Every cell in your body starts thinking like wanting to benefit this person, you know, wanting to love this person. It changes you. And the implication that you would go through that process in order to get like a free fucking plate of fries is just, I can't even, it's just disgusting. I can't even, I can't process that. I'm sorry. It's just like, it's so gross, and I guess I find it so degrading to the reality of things that I don't feel like I can't say anything about it. No. It makes me feel gross that a person thinks you would go through all that to get like a plate of fries. Or that a person would even be so worried about like a plate of fries, like that a person would be so worried about spending a small amount of money on another person. I mean, assuming that you have enough money to feed yourself, you know, it's like spending a small amount of money on another person shouldn't seem like a huge risk to you, in my opinion, unless you are some kind of serious panty licker who thinks like life is a game where the goal is to pleasure and protect yourself as much as humanly possible. But money is something that comes up really quickly in relationships, and I think there's basically, I don't think that there's basically people who have, and so do gender roles, and there's people who have like this idea basically of 50-50 relationships where it should be about equality, and I definitely do not share that belief, but there's also people, I also don't believe that gender roles have an inherent value. I think what has an inherent value is two people having a configuration that produces the maximum amount of value. So it's not about one thing being right or wrong. It's just about like what configuration, when people match up, actually produces maximum value for them and for the whole world. And like for example, I would not want to financially support a man, because when you look at what actually happens most of the time when a woman is financially supporting a man, the man is someone who is playing video games, jerking off to porn, abusing substances, and abusing the woman. It does not generally produce a valuable configuration. Whereas when you look at a man supporting a woman, the most common thing you see is a woman who is like having kids, cooking, taking care of the house, building a nest, raising a family. So that seems very valuable to me. Like she's doing something more valuable than what she could easily be hired to do. So to me, that seems like a positive thing. But there are situations where I would support a man. Like, let's say that I was an heiress, like Darwin's wife. I would love to marry a Darwin and support him in his work, right? Because I have the money to support someone, and by marrying a Darwin, I would be supporting someone who is bringing a lot of value into the world, and that would just feel awesome, you know, because like the whole purpose of money is to be able to turn it into value, you know, for yourself, for someone else, for the world. And if you're marrying someone who, by giving them your money, they create more value, that's a win-win-win, right? So in a case like, and it feels great to be around someone who is giving and who's producing and that sort of thing. So there are cases where I would be totally cool with supporting a man. But I think generally speaking, funneling money into a man is going to create a backwards spiral rather than a positive spiral. And I don't generally like the concept of 50-50 relationships because I feel like it's generally a panty liquor approach to life. Like, where the people are like, okay, our goal in life is to make sure that we're both financially safe and that we store up enough extra money that we can pleasure ourselves. And I don't feel like that produces a fulfilling life. Like, where two people are both focused on earning income, keeping the money separate so they can be safe, and then they have enough extra money to do pleasurable activities. I feel like that's stupid. Because one, they aren't really benefiting the world, and they aren't really benefiting themselves because it's not a pleasurable way to live. There is literally no experience you can buy for yourself that fills your life with the things that humans need, like meaning and adventure. You can't buy them, you know? It's like, I feel that a person should be coming into a relationship, looking at this person, how can I benefit this person? And also, how can I help this person give more to the world? It's like, that should be their thing. And so if you could accomplish that by giving this person money, then you should want to give them money. Why the fuck wouldn't you? Like, what the fuck are you going to do with that money that would be better than giving it to this person who can turn it into value? But maybe giving them money wouldn't help, and there'd be a totally different thing you could give them, which would create more value for them and for the world. But whatever it is, it's like, that's what a person's mind should be. It's like, how can I give to this person? And then also they should be evaluating, I think, if you are a giver, because nobody wants to funnel their money into someone who's entirely, or their resources, their psychic resources, into someone who's entirely selfish. But you should be able to evaluate. A man shouldn't need to not buy a woman a sandwich to evaluate if she is a giver, right? He should be able to evaluate. He should be able to give her as much money as he wants to, while still being able to evaluate if she's a giver or a taker. And I don't think a man should be funneling his money into a woman who's a taker. But he shouldn't need to avoid paying for a meal in order to be able to evaluate that. There's like many other ways, if he has a brain, that he should be able to figure that out. So I mean, I guess for me what it comes down to is, if a man is looking at relationships primarily through the lens of self-protection, as opposed to looking at them through the lens of what are the possibilities here for creating value? What are the possibilities here for having a more meaningful life, for having like a more adventurous life? It's just, that's like gross to me, you know, because it's like, you die, you know, anyway. Like, somebody who can't even take a small risk in order to create something better, you know, it's like, that's like just cowardly and disgusting. Sorry if that sounds bad. But those are my thoughts. Thank you. Bye.